For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com, SoundCloud, all those platforms and apps. So happy holidays. That's the right way to say it, right? Christmas is over. Hanukkah is still on the go, depending on when you listen to this. By the way, if you can't tell, I'm actually getting sick, so I'm a little bit loopy on the cold meds. But we do have a fun show for you. We call last week and this week sort of the off times because, well, if you think about television, they aren't putting out new shows on the TV networks right now, right? Aside from maybe some Christmas specials, but they know that nobody's watching, nobody's listening, so they don't waste the money on producing new content. But we are on the little shoestring budget that we have here. We are celebrating the holidays. On our radio shows last week and this week, we were reporting from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, depending on how you say it. We've got 3 of those segments on the show on the podcast today, where we took an art tour, we went on a golf adventure, and we took a tour of the Malecon, the famous Malecon in PV. So we've got that audio for you. And then to ring in the new year, Rick Mercer and the CBC are celebrating coast to coast to coast all across the country with celebrations for New Year's Eve. Rick will be joining us a little bit later in the show from St. John's, Newfoundland, to talk about what's happening on the big CBC network. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. And we're going to take a break, and we'll get right into things right after this on The Scribble.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley, once again joining you live from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The fun that we're having is on our website, mx.jbonair.com, and I'm here with Kevin, and I'm learning all about peyote people. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Let's start out with what that means, peyote people.
Peyote is actually a cactus. It's a sacrament that different tribes utilize in their ancient rituals or ceremonies. The Huichol Indians, or we call it today Huiratica, are actually very famous because they partake in a 500-kilometer hike to go and get peyote, which they bring back to their homeland to use in rituals or ceremonies.
Wow. Now, I understand you've got a connection to Canada. How did you end up here in Mexico?
Believe it or not, I graduated from Western back in '94 when NAFTA was first signed.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that maybe with that university degree, I could go to Mexico and get some sort of executive position recycling or trying to do something, and ended up here falling in love, believe it or not, with the natives and their art.
You've got some interesting stories about somebody who showed up with on a boat, right?
It was a bus, actually. He walked off a bus. It was an elder, and this was in 1995, and he was carrying a deerskin quiver and a bow. And I just was fascinated that this guy's still carrying around a bow and arrow. I didn't know that people were that traditional. I grew up in Thornhill, right, a suburb of Toronto, where basically we thought fish came breaded.
That's right. And so when you meet somebody like that, you want to make friends.
Yeah, I chased him down the road and said, listen, sir, you don't know me and I don't know you, but you look like you've got a story to tell.
Right.
And so I'll feed you and wine you and dine you as long as you keep feeding us with stories. I was just fascinated that, we're 3 hours from LAX and this guy lives 200 years in the past.
You've got some great stories here about the artwork. So we're about to make some beaded artwork, not like you have here on the walls. This is incredible. I mean, we've got our pictures again, mx.jbonair.com, but some of these things take days to make, some of the skulls you have, and tell us about those.
This is an art form that actually evolved out of offerings. And what they do, it's actually kind of therapeutic, but through the symbols, this tribe communicates with their gods. Basically, they're making offerings to ask for the wind to blow, because the wind brings the clouds bring the rain falls, and your corn grows. But today, it's become an aesthetic art. It's an art that they create basically for a tourist market for the money that they need to continue their traditions up in the mountains.
And it takes a lot of patience, I'm going to learn, I'm sure.
It takes an incredible amount of patience, but believe it or not, it kind of becomes therapeutic. Mm-hmm. The people, when they kind of get into it, kind of feel like they're leaving the rest of the world behind. You know, today, it's hard to get someone to sit down at a table and patiently sit and put beads one by one into something, but we found people have really enjoyed it.
I made a couple lines on my Christmas decoration, not quite like the ones you guys are giving us. Again, the pictures are on our website. You're hoping this is going to turn into a bigger tourist attraction in terms of like a Airbnb. We
really hope that it's going to become sort of an experience where people will come and want to learn not only to buy the art, but what it takes to make it. They get to learn a little bit about how the wax is applied. There's more than just what you see in the final product. We found that, you know, anyone can look at something on the shelf, you know, and purchase it and appreciate it for its aesthetic value, but if you don't know how it's constructed, we think that it'll give you a little bit more insight into the culture, how they think, how they feel maybe.
Yeah, lots of great stories here. So where can people get more information?
You can check us out at peyotepeople.com. Come down Puerto Vallarta. We have 3 galleries here, Peyote People, as well as Gallery Collectica.
So you make a whole day of it.
You can make a whole day of it.
A weekend of it. There you go.
Yes, absolutely. Come down, enjoy the weather, but stay for the culture.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
We are back once again live from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I'm at the Marina Vallarta golf course. I don't say it properly. Yvonne, do you say it?
Marina Vallarta Club de Golf.
There we go. Sounds much better when you say it. So I have never golfed before, so is this going to be easy or hard for me today?
This is going to be enjoyable for you.
Okay, all right. Yes, you already gave me a mimosa, so I'm already having a good time. But how many holes is this course? 18 holes?
Yeah, this golf course has 18 holes. Now, we have 2 properties here in Puerto Vallarta. This one, which is Marina Vallarta Club de Golf, and about 20 minutes from here, we have another property that is called Vista Vallarta. And there we have 2 18-hole golf courses.
Okay. And this one here that we're at is right on the water, too.
Yes, we have just 1 hole by the ocean, but you can see the ocean from some of the other holes.
And some of the other things that you can see are in the water here, or on the grass.
Yes.
Crocodile.
You can see a lot of wildlife here in Marina Vallarta. Well, we saw a few crocodiles out there. We saw a lot of birds, iguanas, a lot of wildlife.
Yeah, and again, we've got pictures on our website, which is mx.jbonair.com. So then after a round of golf, you can come and, you know, have lunch, or even before your game, have a breakfast.
Yes, we have traditional Mexican dishes like chilaquiles, enchiladas, and things like that. Or you can just have a drink, a margarita or a beer.
Or two.
Yeah, and enjoy this view from the terrace here.
Oh, the view is incredible. And then while you're waiting for your food, you can help feed some of the other wildlife that's come out. We've got some, you can't see it, but again, we've got pictures on our website. They're feeding, what is this, iguanas?
Yeah, they are iguanas, giant iguanas here at the golf course.
Now, did somebody bring them in, or they're just naturally here?
Yeah, they live here. This is their home.
And the crocodiles too, though?
Yes, they live here.
Wow, okay. Do you know roughly how many there? I know iguanas, we've had about 10 or so come out.
Crocodiles, I'm going to say we have over 50
out
there. Yeah.
Do any of them have names? Do you know any of them by?
No, not really.
No, bigger, scary.
Yes, yeah, things like that, yeah.
Now, if people wanted to get more information about your golf clubs, where can they go?
Well, they can visit our website, which is Vista Vallarta Club de Golf, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Vista Vallarta Club de Golf.
There you go. And I'm sure you guys have pictures of us on your Instagram already.
Oh, yes. Yes, we do.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Let's go play a round of golf, okay?
Okay, let's go.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, joining you again live from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and walking down the Malecon with my tour guide, Memo. Memo?
Yes.
I got that right.
Memo,
But
yeah.
you have a few names here.
Well, Memo is short for Guillermo, and that would be my nickname.
Memo's easier
Memo's
for Canadians.
easier. Yeah.
All right. So as we're taking this walking tour, we're looking at some incredible sculptures. Of course, the view of the water is even greater. But let's talk about these sculptures. How many are there as we walk along the boardwalk here?
There are 20 monumental sculptures on the boardwalk, 20 bronze sculptures just on the boardwalk, because there's more all around the city.
And some of them are quite interactive. I was climbing up a ladder, and kids can get on a donkey, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of big sculptures that are meant to be interactive, so people can climb them, they can touch them, they can rub them, and they do, because we have installations that are very big and attractive to kids, especially. So people can touch them, they can have their picture taken, and that's actually a very popular thing to do.
And we were doing that too. The pictures on our website, mx.jbonair.com. Now, some of them are different colors, and you said that's because you can see where people are touching them.
Well, yeah, bronze can take different colors. You can make brown sculptures, silver sculptures, green sculptures. We call the patinas. Once you start touching them and rubbing them, of course, the colors fade away and they end up getting all shiny. So you can really tell where people like to touch the sculptures. And that's okay. That's okay. As long as people take care of them,
Right.
we consider the touching part of the beauty of the sculpture.
Mm-hmm. And some of them are a bit green.
Oh, yeah. Some of them start green, blue, yellow, different colors. And then the ocean starts turning them green with envy, I guess.
Which is your favorite one?
My favorite one is a picture. It's a sculpture called the Rock Eater.
Right.
It's a very beautiful sculpture that is made of bronze and obsidian, which is very unique. It's called the Rock Eater because there's a lot of rocks. There are a lot of rocks on the beach in Puerto Vallarta, and they come and go depending on the tides, on the weather. Sometimes the rocks disappear, and in this case, we have a Rock Eater that describes a creature that comes out from the ocean and eats the rocks overnight. That's the idea behind it. That's my favorite one. But everybody's favorite is the seahorse.
Oh, yes, of course. And I think that's probably every tourist that's ever come here has taken a picture there.
Yeah, you need to wait for 30 minutes to get a picture of that sculpture.
We did. We waited in line.
So popular. Yeah, the famous seahorse, that's everybody's favorite. It's the most popular, the most iconic sculpture. So that would be my second favorite.
Okay, all right. And I know you do give tours throughout the area as well. Maybe we can talk about those really quickly.
Oh, well, yeah, I love Vallarta. I love where I live. I love my city, and there's so much to show that I, a few years ago, decided to come up with a series of tours that I call Vallarta 101, an introduction to Puerto Vallarta. So we do a lot of cultural and food walks for everyone. We offer taco walks, seafood walks, sculpture walks.
Something for everyone.
Something for everyone, and they're all free. We don't charge anything. We think that everybody should have the chance to do a tour, and if they can pay whatever they want, they can. If they cannot, they don't have to. That's the whole point. Vallarta 101. So we invite everyone to come and take a tour with us.
All right, where can people get more information?
Vallarta101.com.
There you go.
Or Facebook or Instagram. You just type Vallarta 101 and we'll come up and just make a reservation and come and enjoy the city.
All right, we'll be sure. Well, let's continue the tour, okay?
All right, let's go.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
New Year's Eve is fast approaching, and that means Canada is ready to party, and CBC is hosting probably one of the biggest celebrations in the country. Rick Mercer is here to talk about it right now. Hello there, Rick.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good.
I'm excited to be doing New Year's. I've done it before. I did it on Parliament Hill at the eve of the Canada 150 celebrations. I did it 2 years ago in Niagara Falls, and this year I'm doing it live from St. John, Newfoundland, which is my hometown.
That's pretty cool. And you know what? I think this is a great opportunity that we showcase Canadian talent. I love when we have things like Canada Day and New Year's where you go province to province, to territory, and you see the different communities and the people having a good time. That's really a great showcase of Canada, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's such a complicated show to do. Like, I won't bore people with the details, but honestly, it makes my head hurt. Because you're talking about celebrating, Canadians are celebrating right across the country, but you're talking about 7 different time zones. And you're talking about very varied weather conditions. So we're talking about going indoors in some places and outdoors in another. But, you know, we can't get to every part of the country, but we'll be in Whitehorse, we'll be in Edmonton, we'll be in Winnipeg, we'll be in Niagara Falls, Montreal, and of course St. John's. And we'll also have cameras popping into other celebrations that are happening. And it's all Canadian talent, of course. And it's a giant show. It's one of the, as television is changing and people don't have quite as many appointment viewing experiences, New Year's Eve is still one of those things. People put on the TV at 11 o'clock and they take it right to the countdown. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it for that reason.
Let's talk about some of those stopovers, because I know you've got some great performances coming up too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, you know, for starters, in St. John's, where I would be Alan Doyle, of course, from Great Big Sea,
right,
and the Dardanelles, which are one of the great traditional music party bands, and so they'll always be with me every time you come to see me. And we're shooting in a place called Mallard Cottage, which is one of the oldest cottages in the oldest town in Canada, St. John's, and so it's going to be a real kitchen party, and it's in a place called Kitty Bitty, which is right on the edge of St. John's, but it's a protected small harbor. There's boats in the harbor. We're going to light the pits. It's just going to be a tremendous party. But then on the flip side, that's an intimate party, raucous but intimate. Then you go to Niagara Falls and Brian Adams. I mean, one of our greatest rock stars, exports. A giant outdoor rock and roll show. And he'll be there, same with Walk Off the Earth, which is tremendous. I mean, we're covering so many bases. It's just going to be great.
And in my hometown of Winnipeg, big party at the Forks.
Of course, I've shot at the Forks many times, and we're also going to pop into Winnipeg for the fireworks from the shipyards, and that'll be great. I mean, where's that? No, the shipyards, that's in Whitehorse. See, you have to keep it all check. Very confusing.
I think
William Prince is going to be performing in Winnipeg.
Right.
And we are going to be seeing fireworks from the Forks. Yeah,
right.
So that'll be great.
The fireworks are at the Forks.
I mean, that's that's one of the greatest, I shouldn't say secrets, because obviously people from Winnipeg know it intimately, but when I was doing the Mercer Report, I went there and shot a number of times. And, I think one of the things I loved about popping around the country the way I did with that show, and also this show, is you kind of fly in the face of people's perceptions of what different to the country are like, because we're so big. And every time we shot at the Forks and showed people the great, the warming huts and the great skating features and the features and the community that's happening outside, it always kind of blew people's minds, because I think in some parts of the country they think, oh, in Winnipeg it's so cold, people don't go outdoors. Whereas you have this tremendous natural outdoor facility that people embrace. And probably some of the toughest people in the country, no doubt about it, especially when it comes to standing around at midnight and counting and celebrating the new year.
in the middle of winter, absolutely. You've got to be a hardy Winnipegger to get it. Okay, so you talk...
Winnipeggers embrace it. That's what I love about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, you can hide and cower indoors for 4 months of the year, or you embrace it. And I find Canadians are pretty much like that, especially when it comes to New Year's. Lots of people stay at home, which is great. I've done it myself many times. But the people who want to celebrate it, they often end up going outdoors. And I think that would be a shock to anyone landing from another country. But we do it. We go outdoors for those fireworks, and for we understand layers.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you weren't working, if you've got the night off, what are you normally doing New Year's Eve? Is it a big party? Is it home watching TV? What would you be doing?
It's not. Well, there's certainly been times in my life just a complete. It was like a 2-day event party. But now not quite so much. But I am in St. John's for New Year's, and sometimes I do find myself in St. John's for New Year's. And if I do, it'd be like an inter-house party gathering kind of thing. Nothing formal. No, it'd be suits and gowns or anything. But it would be pretty laid back, low key. And traditionally, people would go to the St. John's Harbor for fireworks. They don't do that anymore. But I would just, I would probably end up, last year I ended up watching CBC, actually, and that was my countdown. And, of course, I should mention, we will be doing different countdowns for every region. So even though I'm housed in St. John's, the show is live right across the country.
So you're staying up until what time?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't think I'm staying up. I think I just don't think I go to bed. I'm not sure how that works exactly. But when you do a show like this, you've just got to be prepared to do anything, because I've done this show before where they say we've lost Whitehorse, and you're like, what do you mean? And they're like, it's a blizzard. The satellite's down, and you're like, oh, okay, and then 15 minutes later, Whitehorse is back. Oh, forgot the Whitehorse. There's just a lot of moving parts. But that's what makes it exciting.
And there's no rewinding. You can't do over midnight.
No, you can't. No, right. You only get one shot, and we will get that right. We've got our people on that.
And I guess for our American friends who are listening as well, they might not understand that you're celebrating New Year's on the half hour in a lot of cases.
Well, in Newfoundland, certainly, because,
yes,
many people have heard that, 12 o'clock, 12:30 in Newfoundland and Labrador. So, I will be doing on the half hour, and then 30 minutes later, we start rolling across the country.
Okay, in our final remaining moments, I'm going to put you on the spot because you talked about going all over the country. So as quickly as possible,
oh my gosh.
if as quickly as possible, if you were to tell me in each province or territory where you would spend New Year's Eve, where would you go?
Oh my goodness. Like every region?
If you were in Quebec on New Year's Eve, where would you go?
Okay. If I was in Quebec on New Year's Eve, I would love to be in Quebec City, of course. Historic Quebec City, World UNESCO City. Completely beautiful. You feel like you'd be transported to Europe. Gorgeous. That's where I would be.
Okay. The East Coast. Let's say Prince Edward Island.
If I was in Prince Edward Island, I would be near the harbour front. Absolutely. That's exactly where I'd Charlottetown. And same with Halifax. I would absolutely gravitate towards the harbour front. And, I spent a lot of time in Halifax doing television for a lot of years, and the Economy Shoe Shop is a fantastic bar. It's still there, and I would know if I was there for the countdown.
Okay, New Brunswick.
Well, again, New Brunswick is a great port town, so that's exactly where the party will be happening. So that's exactly where I would go.
Okay, Ontario.
Chowder. In Ontario, I would go to Niagara Falls because that is where the big rock show happens. That is where Adams will be playing and walk off the air, so I would love to be there.
Okay, Saskatchewan.
Also, Ottawa is always gorgeous.
Oh, yes, for sure. Saskatchewan.
I'd go to Regina. I think I'd go to Regina because every time I'm in Regina, I always feel like I'm in Newfoundland for some reason, which is completely odd because we don't have a heck of a lot in common. But I always just I'm always, taken with the warmth of the people, and it's a chilly place, but super warm people, and that's where I would spend my time.
Alberta,
let's see where we go to. Well, I'd certainly love to go to Banff. That would be beautiful, because Banff is, stunningly beautiful. I'm sure they do a nice fireworks show. I can be sure of that. I've got lots of friends in both Calgary and Edmonton, so I immediately think of like them, and I think, well, whatever kids are gathered in, that would be certainly a lovely way to spend the evening. So there's lots of.
All right, let's head over to BC.
I think I'd go to the Gulf Islands. I mean, I just keep thinking of the beauty of the place, and I know that the people aren't familiar with the legislature in Vancouver Island in Victoria. It's lit up like a Christmas tree always in the winter, and it's stunningly beautiful. It's perhaps the most beautiful legislature in the country, and Port Harbour front as well. And I'm sure they party hardy. I think I'd go to Tofino.
Oh yes,
which is on Vancouver. And one of the most beautiful things I've ever set my eyes on when I was doing the TV show, and it's been on my bucket list to go back and spend some time there ever since.
All right, and then quickly heading up north. So you're Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut.
Well, I would go to Whitehall. I would go to, what's the name of the fish and chips joint? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it killed me. It's one of my faves. And there's also in Whitehorse, which is a tremendous community. I would love to hang out there. In Yellowknife and in Iqaluit, moving over to the other side of the country. That's just a stunning place to spend time. One of the great privileges of my life is that I got to work as much as I did visiting communities in the north, and I'd love to do New Year's. That would be crazy.
It would be fun. Now I'm racking my brain thinking, did we forget? No, we got them all right, I think. Yeah, we
did Manitoba, right? We did Winnipeg.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Phew.
Saskatchewan. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
we're covered.
all right.
Yeah.
If we forgot somebody, we're going to hear about it. Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't want to.
Final remaining moments. New Year's resolutions. What are your thoughts? Do you make them? Do you keep them? What do you do?
I don't officially make them, but you know what? Unofficially, I do. And it usually has to do, of course, I want to gain 5 pounds. No. Or the opposite. But usually they're like everyone else. I'm going to walk more. I'm going to get more steps. I'm going to lead a cleaner life. And, I think my life is pretty boring and clean as it is. But, I guess I unofficially do. I wouldn't certainly walk around telling people what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you keep them?
I feel like if it's important enough to me, I will just do it any time of the year.
Yeah. I mean, back in the old days, which I never wish to go back to, when I smoked cigarettes, which is the stupidest thing anyone could ever do in their entire life. Of course, like everyone else, I would be like, I gotta stop smoking. I gotta stop smoking because it's such a horrible addiction. And this talk of New Year's and resolutions, you feel like, oh, that might, you might be able to make it happen. And I eventually, thank God, did quit smoking, but it had nothing to do with New Year's Eve. But I don't think there's anything wrong with making resolutions. But as long as you gotta keep your expectations in check.
Yeah. No, hey, nothing wrong with.
I'm gonna have a 6-pack by the 15th of January. Come on.
Yeah, nothing wrong with aiming to improve your life a little bit. And finally, as we wrap this up, the big question here is: it 2020 or 2020?
I don't know, and I don't know if there's going to be an official memo come down from high or what we're going to call it. But I keep going back and forth. 2020? I don't know. What do you think?
I think of Barbara Walters hosting New Year's Eve.
Yeah. And plus it'll lead to all those like, well, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
I bet the world will settle on 2020 though.
Yeah. Okay. So we're
that's my guess.
We'll be counting down across the country with CBC and Rick. So I would say check your local listings, but it's going to be all night on CBC, right?
It's going to be 11 o'clock in every town. You turn it on at 11, we'll be there. We'll be welcoming you, and you'll have great Canadian music. You'll have Bryan Adams. You'll have the traditional music from the East Coast, and we'll roll right through to the countdown and fireworks. And
I guess if you're not near a TV, you can probably stream it on your phone, on your device, right?
Everything is streaming. Yes. So you go to GEM, you go to CBC streaming service, it'll be there. And, yes, that's a perfect way to get the official count. If you're in a meadow or a burn, You got to have the official count. So we're the official count.
Absolutely. We're going to be watching Rick Mercer. Let me say Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well. Thanks for having me.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. We're out of time. My thanks to Rick Mercer. Hey, question for you. Is it 2020 or 2020? Email me live at jbonair.com, and I guess I'll talk to you in the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat